also maintains the largest captive breeding group in the world of birds of paradise, with over 90 birds. They get the best possible care, with particular attention being paid to their nutrition. They consume 160 kilos of papaya a week. And their favourite insect food is mealworms. Twice a day, freshly made, the meals are delivered to each of the 90 birds individually. Curator Simon Matthews is in charge of the birds, and his aim is to understand them better and to improve their breeding success still further. Because the eggs are so valuable, Simon removes them from the nests to incubate them artificially. This is a very special and precious chick. It's a young greater bird of the paradise and one of the very, very few that have been reared in captivity. And Simon is now giving it one of its regular feeds. He has to feed it every 2 hours, up to 9 times a day, for nearly 20 days. He whistles to attract its attention. It's kept in an incubator for 3 weeks. But the most difficult part of the breeding process in captivity is getting the birds to mate without injuring one another. In the wild, male plumed birds form necks, as in Wallace's picture, where many males gather to show off their plumes to visiting females. The female then chooses the male she admires the most, mates with him, but then quickly leaves, avoiding the aggression that the males often show during mating. The difficulty for Simon is to ensure that the birds behave in the same way in captivity. To protect the females, he keeps the sexes separately and in alternate cages. He watches the female to see which side of her enclosure she spends most of her time, which suggests to him which of the 2 males she prefers. Once she appears to have made her choice, he opens a hatch. And then she flies in to briefly visit her chosen partner. Although courtship has been well documented in the wild, few people have ever witnessed the birds nesting. This is something I have never ever seen before. I've been so fascinated by the beauty and drama and glamour of the males with their splendid plumage and mountings that I've never spent time looking for the nest of the female. And it's very unobtrusive and very ordinary looking. It looks as though it might even have been made by a blackbird. She makes it entirely by herself, in it she lays her one single egg, which she'll rear entirely by herself. Most other species of birds work together as pairs, not only to make a nest, but to collect all the food needed to rear the young. And that difference is important in understanding why birds of paradise behave in the way they do. It's the fact that the female takes on the laborious business of caring for the young by herself that is the clue as to why the males have evolved such extravagant plumes. Over the years, many naturalists have puzzled over these fantastic plumes. Why should this one family of birds take and feather ornaments to such extreme lengths? And surely having plumes like this must make it more difficult to fly, and therefore make a bird more vulnerable to predators. That certainly mystified Wallace. He described the male's displays as being nothing more than playing or dancing. But their real purpose is much more important than that. This is a female. kingbird of paradise. And you see, she's very drab, nothing like the glorious male. And it was Charles Darwin who understood the important part that she plays in the evolution of birds of paradise, because it's she who selects a male for the beauty of his plumage. And that, over many, many, many generations, has led to the glories of the males. Darwin called the process in which a female chooses a mate based on his physical appearance sexual selection. And the great variety of male ornaments has evolved simply because the females of a species have developed a preference for a particular kind of plume or colour. This trait then, over many generations, becomes more and more exaggerated until eventually it can reach almost absurd extremes. The two magnificent long white tail feathers of the ribbon-tailed bird of paradise evolved because the female ribbon-tails happen to like long white tail feathers. They are 4 or 5 times the length of the bird's body, the longest tail feathers in proportion to body size of any bird. The remarkable thing is that all these plumes, pennants and capes have evolved from simple feathers. Of course, they no longer serve the original function of feathers, to keep a bird warm or to help it to fly. Indeed, if anything, they are an impediment to flight. Their only purpose is to impress the females. And it's not only birds that find such plumes irresistible. The people of New Guinea have always been well aware of the biological purpose of